comes alive. I think Bob Friend and Al Dempsey and Ken Miles and all the guys, you know, that do this, all make up that mosaic, and people don't realize what quality people you all are. You're quality, you're salt of the earth, and you're wonderful people. And these are the people, as we train our young people, Bob Lilac, as we train our young people, and we're trying to teach them what American values are and what it is for America. You know, Fritz Payne, God bless him, who just passed away, will do his memorial next week. We want the young people to meet all of you, because how else are they going to learn what the true fabric of our society is? It isn't an iPhone. It isn't some video game. It isn't something somebody told you on Facebook. It's the people that went out for our country and stood on the wall and did what they had to do whenever our country needed it, whether it was in World War II or it was the Cold War or whenever they had to do it. And they just went out and did it. And they didn't do it and say, what was, let's hear it for them. And it wasn't for personal gain, it wasn't for anything like that. They went and did it because they did it for that they loved their country. And people say to me, well, how do you donate as much time as you do to the museum? And my question is, how can I donate more time to the museum? Why, as somebody who is a product, right, of these guys, I had a quality of life, I had a way of life that would not have happened if these men and women hadn't gone out and did what they did from World War II forward. Yep. I wouldn't be here. It's just that simple. And so, as we recognize our next phase in our evolution tonight, as we're moving forward, and we're standing in front of this great airplane, we're talking about, you know, building the Ken Miles hangar and all the tributes that means for all of you. Don't lose sight of the fact that the hangar and the stuff that's in it are the things that we are going to use as teaching tools to teach the next generation why we are Americans and what we fight for and what our standards are. You know, and the two guys that put this together, you know, Lilac and Dempsey, right? You know, Dempsey's comment to me was, and Al, come on up here. Dempsey's comment to me was, and I'll let Joe take it away. Al Dempsey, you said something to me that was very powerful. And that was, I always said, you know, Ken had my back. When we started on this, we had no Vietnam aircraft or Korean aircraft really to speak of in the inventory. And I was very concerned about that. And I was very concerned going out and doing it because, you know, the guy who goes out and does the first thing, sometimes there's a very short plank there, right, where the plane disappears behind you. And I've been on the board for a long time, and Ken always told me, don't worry about that. Go get it done. I know you'll do a good job. Tell me what's going on, and I've got your back. He would tell me that all the time. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And he always had my back. You remember that? And there was a time when we were talking with Ken over in front of the Bob Hope stage, and we were talking about this airplane. And I said, Ken, we're going to find an F-100. Ken wanted an F-100 desperately, and he didn't know about this airplane, sadly, before he passed away. But Al came up to me when we figured out how we were going to do this, and he looked at me and he said, I got your back. Go get it. And so, quality of guy, when you look at this man, he looked at me and said, go get it, make the best deal that's possible, I got your back, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, Al Dempsey.
Oh, Brad, thank you so much. I want to tell you a little bit about how this airplane came here. But before I want to do, I want to tell you that the IP that checked me out in the F-100, October 31st, 1957, was a Tuskegee Airman, Asa D. Herring, Asa still in Phoenix. Unfortunately, couldn't make it over tonight. We moved up to him here. But if you're interested, his picture and biography is in the display case under the Tuskegee Airman Memorial. Thank you all for coming. It's great to see such a turnout in an event like this. And I have notes, and here they are. It's been an odyssey for me, a 5-year adventure to get this thing done. And Fred's alluded to it in his remarks that Ken was the one that started us getting Cold War, Korean, and Vietnam airplanes. And of course I latched onto that because that's my era too. So I said to Fred, I know there's one up in Reno, and I'm a snowbird. I'm going to be leaving in a couple of weeks, go back to Minnesota for the summer, and I'm going to stop by and take a look at it. And so that's what I did. In May, I drove up to Reno, and I had made contact with Ron Brandon, who was the registered owner of the aircraft, and I got into my hotel, and I called Ron, and I said, can we get together tomorrow? I'll meet you out at Stead about noontime, and we'll take a look at the airplane. And Ron he's such a great guy. He said, where are you staying? And I told him, he said, oh, I'm just a stone's throw from there. I'll stop by and pick you up and drive you out there, and we'll look at it together, which we did. And of course, in the same car, we got a chance to chat, and I found out that Ron is not an aviation guy. He's in the real estate and property business, most of commercial properties, and he likes to buy low and sell high. And he happened to be at a tax sale and looking for some commercial property that he could get a bargain on, and up pops this F-100. The fellow that had bought it went bankrupt, like everybody that tries to fly an F-100 does. And the tax boys were trying to get their money back from him. Well, Ron bought it, and he, not being an aviation guy, he listed it with a broker, and it sat around for a while, a couple of years, I think, and so he was kind of anxious, I think, to make a deal. And I went out and looked at the airplane. You know, what can you do when you're looking at an airplane like this? Right? Kick the tires, light the fires. I couldn't light the fires, but I could kick the tires. And I got home and I called Fred and I said, we want to get this airplane. And he's told a little bit about that story, but I had won the lottery, and when you win the lottery, you got a little extra cash lying around, and I figured this was a great way to have my legacy and Ken's legacy continue here at the museum. So I told him, Fred, get together with Ron, make the best deal you can, and you're covered. So that deal was signed, and how do we get it down here? Well, we're not going to light the bird. We got to put it on a truck. You think that's going to fit on a truck looking like that? I don't think so. But we got lucky. Albie Reddick runs a shop on Stead at Reno that takes care of fire planes, and he agreed to take the airplane apart so it could be put on a truck at a reasonable price. And finally, it's down here in the end of January, and Fred says, well, we got to paint it. So Tom Kruger, our chief mechanic and expert painter, next thing I know, I see him out there with paint cans, and as you can see, he completely painted this airplane. And the next thing I know, the decals are going on, and the next thing I know, Stan Stokes is up on a ladder painting the logos on the side of the airplane. And this is like 2 weeks ago. So, my point is, what I really want to say is, to tell you this story, it was a team effort. And there were so many people that made this thing all come about. and I'm so proud to have been a part and to help make it happen.
Folks, you got to recognize that this airplane wouldn't have happened and you all wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Al Dempsey. And the airplane is dedicated to Al Dempsey, who made it happen, and also to Ken Miles of the 614th, Fan Rain, and many of his members are here tonight. We have a lot of Super Sabre guys here tonight. The Super Sabre Society was formed in 2006. I'm a charter member. We started out with a few. Ken was number 4 of 1,500 guys that are in the Super Sabre Society right now. So if there's any of you out there that are F-100 drivers that are not in the Super Sabre Society, we invite you to join. We've got lots of folks here tonight. And so as a part of this whole operation, we have a little tradition that we do in the Super Sabre Society, and it sort of goes like this. It's a little toast that we'd like to propose to everybody that's here, and bear with me, if you would, while we do this, because you can join me in the toast, you can participate any way you want to, but I'm going to have Fred take my jacket off, and I'll propose this toast to most of you F-100 guys will remember it. Some of you other folks will remember this as well. It kind of goes like this. It's to remember those who we flew with, those who have passed on, those who didn't come back, and it kind of goes like this. When my flying days are over, and from this world I pass, I hope they bury me upside down, so the world can kiss my ass.
You know, my mom is a singer for Words Welcome, and they said don't follow kids or animals. So far we've raised $1.3 million for the South Hangar in a very short period of time. Thank you. I want to recognize Ken Miles and the Miles family for being so helpful there. The Shears, Bob and Mona Shear, who and their father made a 250, or Ed and Mona, sorry. Ed and Mona, Lilac, Bob Lilac is throwing me way off here with the kiss my ass thing. I don't know. Ed and Mona Shear, for her father, are sponsoring the POW MIA. Now, if you want to see a mock-up of that, over in the corner, there's about 25% of that that's finished. So you can go over and take a look at that and see what it's going to look like. That's going to be something truly amazing. We're getting the bracelets, and we're going to recognize all of the POW MIAs in the new hangar. Monty, where's Monty? Monty, thank you so much for her donation to the Bush portion of the hangar. We thank you so much. Let's hear it for her. The City of Palm Springs has gotten into the act and is allowing us to reinvest $200,000 of our rent into the off-sites, which will allow us to do the tarmac and all the off-sites. And then last but not least, I want to recognize a guy that helped us acquire the F-102 and the F-104, His Royal Highness Prince Bandar, who is a fighter pilot and flew with George W. Bush, trained with him, and helped us acquire the F-102. He made a $500,000 donation to the new hangar. Wow. So we had some large donations. Well, welcome. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Managing Director of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and I would like to welcome all of you to the unveiling of our Super Sabre. This is a unique day in that this particular aircraft, every aircraft that we restore is a challenge. Every acquisition that we have is is a challenge, but this particular airplane has about a 3-year history of acquisition and getting it here. It is unique in that it is the only complete F-100D model anywhere in the world that is airworthy. This airplane is complete. So what I'd like to do now is recognize the Cathedral City High School ROTC here. They're going to present colors, and if you'll all rise for the presentation of colors.
Forward, march, up, 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 right, 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 up, right, color guard, hold, up, ace, breathe, and color.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward, march, up, right, right.
Let's hear it for Loretta Siani. And what a Italian girl. I'll tell you, that is not an easy song to sing. It is also not an easy song to sing without any accompaniment. So congratulations, what a wonderful rendition. Thank you so much. Karen, why don't you come up? Al Dempsey, come on up here. Come on up to the stage. And you're gonna help me. Where's Bob Lilac? Bob, get up here too. Come on over here. Come on over here. You're gonna help me. This aircraft is a two-sided aircraft, and that is that, like the F-105 that sits on the other side, we've recognized two individuals. On the left side of the aircraft, Al Dempsey, who I'm going to let say a few words, and Karen can say a few words, but both of them in their own way. Al was a Cold War pilot. Ken flew combat missions and won the Silver Star in this airplane, and the hangar will be named after him.
This particular airplane was delivered to the Air Force in January 1955 to the 401st Tactical Fighter Wing at England Air Force Base, Alexandria, Louisiana. It stayed there doing missions, training pilots to air-to-air and air-to-ground, the normal fighter pilot missions, and ended up going to Myrtle Beach for 4 years, where it continued in that vein training F-100 pilots. And then it moved overseas to Torreon, Spain, and went back with the 401st, which had moved from Louisiana to Torreon. And finally, in 1969, it went to Turkey. and it was part of the Turkish Air Force. And we don't know much, I don't know much about what went on over there, of course, but I'm assuming they flew kind of like we did, and flew missions to train their pilots. And it was there for 20 years, about to go to the beer can factory, and was saved by a company in Mojave that wanted some F-100s. It ended up at Stead Air Force Base, parked on the ramp 2004. His last flight was in 2004. But that's the story about this airplane. We love it. I love it. We all love it. So again, thank you for coming, and that's the story about this airplane.
Yes, hi, I'm Karen Miles, and I know through me, Ken would love to say how much he appreciates all of you being here, and how much he appreciates Fred Bell, the Air Museum, all of the incredible volunteers. But I know that he's here right now, this right now, and he wants me to thank all of you and how appreciative he is of this moment. Very, very wonderful time, and we absolutely love the Hun.
I am Bob Lilac, and I'm for the F-100 drivers that are here, and anybody who was here last night, I'm not going to repeat my act. But having said that, I just want to tell the folks that are here that weren't here last night that you have here amongst you a bunch of guys wearing this name tag, and these are guys that flew the F-100. So we've got close to 50 of them, plus their guests here. So all of you folks, please wander around and visit with them.
I will invite our guests to go to the front of the airplane. We're going to unveil the aircraft. So Karen, Al, come on around. Bob, come on, help them. And why don't you guys pull forward? The airplane is unveiled. Now what we're going to do for all of you Sabre drivers, you Hun drivers, you can sign either side of the aircraft, whichever you feel comfortable with. One side is Al's. If you flew with Ken, sign Ken's side. But one thing we do here is we're going to do a toast. And if Greg is going to, first of all, as I said, this airplane is operational. So Greg Vanna here is going to, there you go, thank you. Open the aircraft up. She is an operational bird. And as I said, you can't go to the Air Force Museum and do that. None of their airplanes will do that. What I want to do now is do a toast. We're going to get the champagne out. Where is Al? There you go. Take the drink. Oh, look at all those guys. Yeah. Cheers. We got champagne for all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, the aircraft is now accepted in the Palm Springs Air Museum inventory as one of our airplanes. It will be going in the Miles hangar. You notice I said will be, not maybe. It is going to happen. It will be, as Karen says. What I'd like to do now is invite you, the Hun drivers, to come up, sign the aircraft.